Welcome back to Jess Saying, where we unpack life, love, parenthood, and everything in between. Today's guest is someone whose story left me thinking long after the recording ended. Mila Maxwell is an author, a volunteer firefighter, a business owner, and a mother, but perhaps most powerfully, a big sister. Her new children's book, Finding Lady Baltimore, chronicles her childhood growing up with a sister who had disabilities and the lifelong lessons that come with it. From the messy reality of caregiving to the quiet beauty of resilience, Mila reminds us that our stories matter, even the ones we're scared to tell. Let's dive in. Hey friends, I'm here with Mila Maxwell. She's a mom or mother, author, firefighter, and a business owner. She's like, what do you call those things? Dang it. What are those things? Those little knives that have all the little gadgets? That's what you are. You're a gadget.
Army knife?
Yes, Swiss Army knife. Can never remember the name of that. You're like a Swiss Army knife. You've got you've got your hands and everything like an octopus. Welcome to the show, Mila. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
I know I'm a little nutty. I can't help it. I'm just this way. This is how I am.
I love it.
Okay.
We're going to go with it.
Okay, so you're an author, right? And you wrote a book, Finding Lady Baltimore. Is that right?
That is, yeah. Just came out in April. Yeah.
So it came out recently, so it's new. Well, this will air right now. We're in October, which is the reason why I'm wearing orange and yellow and all these colors. So you see my orange? That is why I'm wearing Halloween colors. But this is going to air in June. So you will have, yikes. You'll have a whole year be out before this will air, but that's okay because you know what? It's good because it'll refresh people's minds and it'll make them go straight to the book. And it's called Finding Lady Baltimore. And I want to know a little bit about it. What inspired you to write this book? Well, first of all, wait. So you're a volunteer firefighter, right? So you're like a kick-ass, legit, dude.
It's interesting. I was having this conversation with we have like a local swimming pool gym in town, and the manager there is on a neighboring fire department, and she's like a lifeguard, super good swimmer. And this weekend and next, we're in two groups. Our fire department is doing what's called swiftwater rescue, and you have to I'm not a super good swimmer. Like, I hate opening my eyes underwater, can't hold my breath. I have like the lung capacity of like a 4-month-old, not
goggles.
Yeah, no, but we practiced yesterday. So I said to her, a lot of people I think see firefighters and they think, oh, they go into, burning buildings. But it's like, no, we do floodwater rescue. We do medical rescue calls. We do car accidents and things like that. So Swiss Army knife in and of itself in that.
In just that, yeah, for sure. My cousin Emily is a lady firefighter too.
Hi, Emily.
And yes, if she's listening. I mean, I don't know if my family likes me, so who knows? I highly doubt that they even listen, but whatever. If you're out there, Emily, I love you. Well, you know what? I'm hoping that if anything ever happens to me, this will be my legacy. It'll be, I can still listen to her talk because she did all these shows and talked to a bunch of different people, and
Absolutely.
I get to see a point of view. I mean, I'm putting myself out there. And if you don't like it, tune me out. No, I'm just teasing. Don't tune me out because we want to hear a little more about and I'm so sorry. I swear, I always turn my dang phone off, and the one time I don't, it actually rings.
That's fine.
I'm going to do it now. So that is so rude. I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's your show. I'm just here for the ride.
And I don't like editing my videos or my podcast. So this is going to stay in it. So
good.
Toodles. Okay. Okay.
Real life.
So we want to, yes, real life. Hello. I mean, when we hear our dogs barking or the kids coming in from school, I'm home, you're going to get all that. That's what it is. That's
Mine should be here in 2 minutes. I did leave him a note on the door though, that said, doing a podcast, come on in, but please be quiet.
So I could tell my family that, and they do not listen. You said come on in, and they thought somebody was coming at the door.
Yeah, so he literally just walked in, and I heard him go, shh, but it's the dogs that I have to worry about.
And then I could tell my family, and my husband will still turn on the record player because we bought a record. Have a whole bunch of records and we bought a record player. So he turns on something and it'll be playing Journey in the background. And I'm like, I can't say, turn off the music. Well, and they don't care. And there goes my dog's barking. My pool man's supposed to be here. So that's what my dogs will be barking at as a pool guy. But where are you at? Because I'm in California. So I think you're 3 hours ahead, right?
It's hi Bennett. It's 3 o'clock, 3:10 here, and I'm in New Brunswick, Canada.
Canada. Oh, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, that's why your kids are coming home now and mine are eating lunch somewhere.
Right. And mine just started middle school this year, so he comes home about half an hour
Ooh.
later than he did last year. Yeah, he's in grade 6.
Oh yeah, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse later and later.
It's wild.
I know, they're getting older fast. I mean, my daughter's 15 and I couldn't just seems like just yesterday. And oh my God, I really want to strangle my dogs. Look it up.
I don't even hear them. Fun fact to your listeners that between the two of us, we have 5 French bulldogs.
A whole bunch of little bread boxes walking around.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm writing a book or I just finished it and I'm on my second draft and I talk about, I write in my book, it's a romance novel and I put my dog in there, Ricky Bobby. And then, and he had a girlfriend, Whitney, which is also my other dog. And they just had a baby, Opie, which is my dog. But it kind of is in different stages and it's in the background of everything. It's just kind of like a added humor kind of a thing to different. And it's just funny. But yeah, my book is about a firefighter and an ER nurse. So
yeah, you'll have to let me know when that's out because it's got the fire aspect, it's got the romance, and it's got the French bulldogs. I'm in.
I'm a little nervous because I think it's not raunchy, but it's a little seductive.
The raunchier, the better.
Maybe I should let you read it first, and you could tell me.
I would love that. Can I be a beta reader?
Would you? Oh my Lord,
Absolutely.
That would be so cool. I think what I'll do is after I get through my second draft, I mean I'm sure I'm going to want to take it to an editor, of course, but I'm doing pretty good right now. I want to make sure right now it's cohesive because, like, I put Pine Bluff Memorial when it's supposed to be Pine Bluff General. So I'm finding little mistakes like that. I also put that the guy his dad died, but really his dad didn't die. And I was like, I don't know why I put that back in chapter 3 or whatever it was, or not 7. And I'm like, so duh. So I'm trying to make it more cohesive and make sure that there's no mistakes. But I kind of want to get an idea if the storyline is cool enough and if it's not too raunchy or if it's just raunchy enough.
No,
those type of
send
things.
it my way anytime. I would love that. And I do have an editing and proofreading background.
Yes. Yeah, you could tell me if it's not right. That's the other thing too, is that when I'm totally I'm totally talking about myself right now. But that's okay. This will be fun. Okay. I'm also nervous and confused about like the type, because my first book I wrote was about myself. It's like a memoir, kind of like your book, right? And it's easy to talk about yourself, and there's not a lot of dialogue in the book where there's back and forth people talking. I had like 8% dialogue is what I found. I put all my stuff into this website called AutoCrit, and it'll break down everything about your book. And then like it says, you only have 8% dialogue. And I'm like, perfect, because I don't want to quote myself in my book. That's stupid.
AutoCrit, that's a cool program.
AutoCrit, CRIT. And it'll tell you like how many times you're using the word however, and it'll say you use that word 35 times, take out 15 of them.
That was something I had to do. Like one of my editors was like, you use this word. I forget what it was. She's like, this word is in your document like 37 times. And I actually like had a Google document and had to do like a control find and be like, okay, what's a synonym for whatever the word was?
Right.
Yeah.
And this website will tell you like alternative things. And it's also in line. They're like married with Grammarly.
Oh,
so it'll
yes.
be kind of a Grammarly thing connected, and it really helps you. And that's why when I sent my book off to the publisher, they're like, dang, this is written really good. And I was thinking like, if you only knew.
But no, it's awesome to do that. It's hard sometimes to do that background or that behind the scenes work because you're like, and that's something I struggled with, that it was like, I don't want to get this manuscript done, send it to an editor, and they're like, this is crap. So In
It's like
my
you want
case,
you want it to be on your best be it's like your best behavior when you send your book out first time, and,
yes,
you don't want it to be like, "I can't follow what they're saying." That's the other thing is that I'm using a lot of dialogue, and I'm not sure if I'm writing it correctly in the form is how you're supposed to put it. I do know that, they want you to have no more than 3 sentences in a paragraph, so just FYI.
really.
So when you're going through it, I try to do no more than 3 and make sure that it's in the same vein of what I'm talking about. And
Mhm.
if I have to do 4, then of course you put 4, to make sure that you finish off what your thought.
And I
And
think,
so
I think those are good. Like, it's good to have those sort of, let's call them parameters. And I found myself doing that too, being like, what are the rules? And especially like with a journalism background, it was like I was taught to teach, or I was taught to write a certain way. I was like, be clear and concise, get to the point. Whereas with this, the book, it was like my editor kept saying, you have an entire novel. You know, it's not that you want to take 10 pages to explain something that you could explain in 2, but he's like, have some fun with it, have some creativity with it. So,
right.
to your point about only having like the 3 sentences, I mean, yeah, sometimes that's okay, but I challenged them a lot. I would say like my style of writing can be very like to the point and sort of abrupt, and I'm like, no, but that's me,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
it's
for
like you can
sure.
break the rules a little bit.
I know, and, my book right now, as it stands, is about 95,000 words and
Mm,
over 140, I think, pages. I'm not really sure, maybe
holy
more than that.
crap!
So it's gonna be bigger.
It's a thick one. It's a thick one.
My last book, my memoir was only 61,000 words or something, and it came out to about 198 pages after it was published. So this book will be a little bit thicker, and
95.
it's going to be. And I don't know why I keep talking about myself. We're going to get to you in a
Hey,
second.
no.
It's a 3 book series, so it's gonna be all fire series, and then I might do another one. It's like storms there,
Mhm.
like water, like on the docks or something different. Or I might do a political one, which I think would be fun because we're all yin and yang, and
Yeah,
you know the issues with that. So I thought
but this
maybe a
is
political.
this is book 1 though.
Yeah, this is book 1,
Holy crap.
and of a 4 book series, and I can actually. I was thinking about starting book 2 before I would give the publisher both books, or I might self-publish. I haven't decided. Did you self-publish or did you publish on your own?
I did, and I did a lot of research on it because I was 75% sure that I wanted to self-publish just because it has that freedom. It's a lot more expensive, but
Yeah.
it gave me that freedom to say, "No, I wanna publish now. I don't wanna wait, and I don't wanna have to write query letters, and I don't wanna get rejected," and all these things. So it was like I went with
Right.
a company, out of one of the Carolinas, I think, selfpublishing.com, and they were lovely.
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe I should
Yep.
write that down.
The only thing was with me, I already had the book written, and their pricing did include the writing, so I knew going in, I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna
They write the book too?
they help you write the book, yeah, they help you,
Oh, well,
like, they
they
coach
give
you,
you a
but
discount if you've already written the book? Like
yeah, well, that's what I said. I was like, do you have any pricing that, here's my finished manuscript. I still had to
Right.
hire like an outside editor and stuff. So there were pros and cons with them, but I mean, all in all, like it was coaching, and they were like, okay, if you ever write a second one, you know what to do, you know how to do it yourself. But like they nailed the cover. Like I had kind of given them an idea of what I wanted cover wise and what the book was about. Yeah, that's it right. That's it right there. But I just said dare. That's it right there. Um,
And
but yeah, like I said it has to have a
they're
suitcase and a pink envelope, and it's got like a little air freshener and a bathing suit, all things that are in the
in the
book.
book, and I love the silhouette of is that, your sister?
That's me, my
Or you?
character, Morgan.
Your character. Morgan.
Which the book is fiction, but it's pretty based on my life, pretty
Okay, so it's not
closely.
a memoir, it's a fiction. And what age group is your book?
Originally, as I was writing it, I thought it was gonna be young adult, but there's a lot of more mature thinking, so it's anywhere from young adult to 100. Like,
Okay.
even some of my parents' friends, even some male friends that are in their 70s and 80s have read it, and they resonated with it too because It shares my perspective as a young person growing up along my sister who has cerebral palsy. It shares her perspective. It shares my parents' perspective. So anyone that's ever known anyone can relate with the characters.
So my very first story was supposed to be, so what inspired you to write the
Yeah.
I never got to it because I started talking about myself in my book and the writing process. I really love the writing process because I find it interesting. And maybe some people that always thought maybe I should write a book or could I or would I think it's interesting for them to kind of see that it's actually a doable thing and
It is.
it's not as difficult as people make it out to be. You just have to be disciplined and get your words on paper,
The discipline
basically.
is a big thing, yeah, and it's to somehow find a writing group or even just telling a couple of people at the start and finding the right people that are gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's so cool." Like, yeah, and then they ask you
Yeah.
about it and they're legitimately interested, but
Or use
it's
them as a sounding board, bounce
yeah.
things back and forth,
And I mean,
Yeah.
I was fortunate in the way that when I started telling people 3 years ago that I was gonna write a book, they were, like, super stoked about it. They weren't like, "Really? Like, why would you do that?"
Right.
'Cause I've had
Well,
some
who says
friends.
that?
Oh,
First of all,
no.
whoever would ever say, "Don't do it," or "Why would you?" or any of that, I think that's just ridiculous.
Well, I have a friend, I don't know, the people in her life are not always the best, and yeah, she's told a few people that she was doing it, and they were like, "Really?" Like, they're super not supportive. So
That is terrible.
if
That
that
is
is
terrible.
if that is you listening right now, if you have people like that, just throw them to the curb. There's
Or
lots
just
of
just ignore them.
there's lots of
They're
awesome writing
yeah,
groups out there, like,
and
anywhere.
yeah, you know what? Talk to your mom. My mom is, she's like my little personal shopper too. If I really need something, I'm like, Mom, I'm giving out, because okay, off topic, but my neighborhood has like a golf cart caravan. They do it at Christmas and Halloween where they check out everybody's house and stuff. But at Christmas, they come by and it takes an hour for them to get through. There's so many. I pass out treats. And so this year I want to put it in like a container of some sort, with like fudge and a candy cane and some candied nuts and some other things. And I was like, Mom, I need you to help me like find the perfect thing so like that I can give out to like 50 different people.
Well, didn't she
So
drop something off when you and I had, like, our pre-meeting? Like, we had met a couple weeks ago, and didn't she stop by and give you
no,
your
no,
hat or something?
that might have been my sister, my either I think that might have been my daughter. My mom lives in San Diego. She lives kind of far. I live
Okay.
in Bakersfield. There's no way my mom would come even visit me. She lives so far. Yeah, that my mom never comes out here. It's terrible. Okay, so you have a sister with cerebral palsy. My daughter has cerebral palsy. It's her. She doesn't wear hers outwardly, though. I mean, she's got problems but she can't see it. Like
Okay.
people can't really know. She just can't grasp things. She can't talk very well, and you can tell it in her legs when she walks, a little bit. But tell me a little bit about your sister growing up and how that was for you as a
I'm
sister.
curious to go back to your daughter after this to see if that makes it easier for her or less so
I
because
know.
it's right? It's like 'cause it's
Yeah,
like if
because when they know there's something, they can see it, then and if they don't, then they think there's something wrong with you or something. You know what
right.
I'm saying? And so
Or,
she
like,
struggles.
right when she, like, starts driving and she has a a pass to put in the window so she can park in the disabled spots, like,
Right.
is she gonna have, like, people come up to her being like, "Why are you parking there? Like, you don't look
Right.
disabled."
Well, 5 minutes into talking to my daughter, you can see it. But my daughter, well, this is the thing too. This is so weird. So we just found out she has what's called 16p, and it's a chromosomal disorder, but it's an intellectual disorder. But they say that sometimes a misdiagnosis of cerebral palsy can happen because of this. But we didn't know that she had this until just recently, because back in the day, the testing for this wasn't good. And now the testing's better. So we had her retested just to see if there's anything else going on that we missed because of technology has changed. And she has this thing and I'm like, well, does she have cerebral palsy or not? And they're like, probably yes, but we just, but the MRI said that she did when she was 2.
Mhm.
And that was the finding. And so I'm kind of going off of that. And it's funny, like the school systems are like, have you had her looked at a neurosurgeon? I'm like, yeah, but they're like, recently. I'm like, well, her diagnosis will never change. Okay. She's got it. She ain't gonna get,
Right.
get better. I mean, she can cope to learn how to handle with it and maybe walk better or grasp things stronger or eat, there's a lot of things, but I'm like, why is I'm like, the school, I'm like, do you really know what you're saying? Like, she doesn't need to go see a neurosurgeon or neurologist every school year to get a pass that she
Right.
has.
Just accept her and give her the tools that she needs to learn.
I know sometimes schools can just be ridiculous when you're
Because they're
dealing with
so they're so like, oh, you have to fit into this box. And if you don't fit in this box, then
terrible.
figure
I
it
just want
out
to
yourself.
smack them around.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about your sister because I'm curious to see and find and learn about what it's like for a sibling with this in their family. Because I have a daughter, older daughter, but I have a son who's still in the house, and so I'm kind of getting. I love to see your perspective
Is
because
he younger? Is he younger or older?
he's older.
He's older. Okay, so similar for us then.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I Sarah and I are 18 months apart. I'm the oldest. And yeah, I think there's a certain like with Sarah, my parents like when she was first born, she came out, she was fine, and then I remember my parents saying like she was almost gasping for breath or gasping for air. So they're not sure if something happened during pregnancy, when she was being born or after. Whether they didn't clean her out properly, I'm not sure. So, anyways, excuse me, dogs. I'm busy. Can you go do your fighting outside, please? Um, so yeah, they ended up taking her by ambulance to like the kids hospital in Halifax, which was 3 hours away from where we lived. And they don't know. Yeah, she might have had just a lack of oxygen for so long. So she wasn't diagnosed until she was probably a year and a half. And mom was just noticing things like when she'd go to change her diaper, her legs were like this. They wouldn't relax. Um yeah, so lots of testing at the first. So for Sarah, it's both physical and mental. So she walks with crutches, a little bit of a delay with like learning and things like that. So yeah, but we've adapted and my parents were lucky enough to have the support that they needed. And I wanted to tell my side because I think growing up, well, no, I don't think I know, I was very empathetic, but I wasn't sure what that meant as a young person. I just felt a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of unease. So, you see your younger sibling going through things and having to get surgery and having to have a speech a speech
therapist. Yeah,
therapist come into the house. So there was always a lot of that and a lot of appointments. And I mean, I grew up around that, so I was very aware. But then, you're a kid, you compare and think, well, why is my sister this way and my best friend's sister not that way? And they're doing things together and I'm not. So yeah, there was a lot there, and I mean, I just turned 40 this past spring, and it was, like, probably the first time in my life that I'm like, "Okay, I've accepted this, I have grieved this, and she is here, she's alive." My parents were told that she'd never walk or talk, and she does both. I mean, she needs help with the walking part, but yeah, she lived a relatively normal life aside from like alongside of me. We went to the same school from kindergarten to high school. She had a teacher's aide, but come high school there were some different classes that um, people that needed a bit of extra help. They were in a specialized learning program, but she was never, and I don't think we were ever made to feel that oh, you're different, you're a burden, you need all of these things. It was always just given. It was always the support was always there from what I could see anyway. So now she is almost 39, and she I think 4 or 5 years ago moved into it's called I don't like to call it a special care home, but she lives in a house with a couple other girls that have similar needs. It's staffed 24/7. So she lives a relatively independent life. She goes to work every day. It's like a workshop where they do crafts for the community, they shred paper, they're put to work and
yeah.
she feels like a contributing member of society because she is.
Right. I always, my daughter's 15 now, and same thing happened when she was younger. She wasn't hitting all her milestones, and I had a child development degree at the time, and I knew she wasn't hitting all the what she
Mhm.
should have been. And I kept trying to get the doctor to, like, assess her better. And finally, my mom and I went hand in hand into the doctor, and my mom says, "We're not leaving unless you order an MRI for her and order the necessary testing for her." And so we did, and she came back with a bunch of slew of different things. And so, but then we also found out that what she has now is a learning disability and autism.
Mhm.
And so I'm finding that I'm wondering what it would going to be like for her when she gets older. Is she just going to stay at home the whole time, or will she be someone that could go into a home like that? Or, like, I just don't know what's going to be best for her. And I always don't know what the future holds. And so I always, when I hear this, always positive stuff, I'm always like, well, there's always that.
Yep.
Um,
And my parents
yeah.
did have to work with the municipality back home, and it was something that was in the works quite a few years before this all happened. I would say 5, 10 years before, because they all the girls were around the same age. They knew that this time was going to come, that they would eventually, become older. My mom's turning 70 next month. She just got through breast cancer last year. So just a lot of things that, that would have been much harder with Sarah at home because she doesn't do well with all this medical stuff. So yeah, they're all learning, especially mom and Sarah, but dad too. They're all learning how to live apart because they were all together for 35 years, right?
I know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking that I'm going to be in the same situation where I will be when she gets to be, I'll be 70 in 20. I'm 52. I just turned 52. So, like, when she's just being you know, an adult self, I'll be the same age like your mom. Like, I'm going to be in the same situation, and my dogs won't start barking. It's driving me nuts.
Can't even hear them.
Ho- Okay, good. You can't. Okay, perfect. Then
Doesn't bother me any.
hear 'em.
But with
I think that.
mom, oh, go ahead.
Hmm.
Sorry.
No, no, no. Let's keep going. Let's keep going in that direction. I was.
With mom, I think with Sarah, it was Sarah became such a big part of her identity that once Sarah moved out, I mean, there's still things that they have to deal with. They still have to, um, you know, Sarah has a lot of anxiety by times, so there's been a lot of growing pains with her moving
She has
out.
anxiety for my daughter, like, through the roof. Like, it is
Mhm.
crazy
I
anxiety.
wonder, and I think too, and this is part of the book too, putting myself in her shoes and understanding what she's going through, and she can't always tell us, and she can't always tell me. But I like to think, if you and I, who are fairly neurotypical, I would say, um, I struggle with anxiety sometimes, and it's like, oh, if something was unplanned or if something felt out of my control, but you think of someone like your daughter or my sister who really don't have that much control over their bodies. They don't have that agency. So it's like, imagine the anxiety that they would feel because I'm sure they feel trapped by times to think, I have something to say, but my mind or my body's not doing what my mind is telling it to. So of course they would feel a heightened level of anxiety.
Like, my daughter, she doesn't even chew food. She will not put anything in her mouth that you have to chew. And
Really?
so, yeah, so she eats only soft or liquid things. And when you
Okay.
try to force her to eat a cookie or a French fry or anything, she cries. Like,
Really?
and she'll just drool, and I
Just
mean,
the
even at
te- the
15,
just the texture of it is
yeah,
not her thing.
yeah.
Right, and it's
So
like
she,
it's learning too, and I mean, I'm sure that you're so used to it by now, but that's what sometimes I wish other people in, like, the educational realm or the occupational realm that are looking to hire, it's like, okay, like, don't necessarily change these things about these people, accept them.
right. Work around it. Like,
Mhm.
if they're like my daughter, she would see all the time, like when she was doing times tables when she was in younger grade, and if they put like 20 or 30 on a sheet, and they're like, okay, go as fast as you can. And, she doesn't have good grip for her hand strength. So, and her mind doesn't work as quick. So she would freak out and she'd cry. And so
Right.
finally I said, have her put a piece of paper over have her just do what she can. Like, fold the paper in half, and have her go as far as she can with the time. And if she can flip over the page and do the rest, she can. And then I asked them to just grade her on the amount that she did. So if she did 15, then you grade her out of the 15 and how many she got right. And that's what they ended up doing.
Awesome.
And it worked out perfectly. And I think if a lot of people, a lot of kids, not even kids that are neurodiverse, but they have anxiety when they see 20, 30 things on a page and they have to try to get it done in a certain time period.
Well,
So
I have anxiety about math because when I was in elementary school, they would take two students at a time, and they had the teacher was in the middle, and she had a sheet, and we would be facing each other, and she'd go 2 times 2, and then the person that got it wrong or didn't say it in time had to go sit down, and it was this very like shameful way
yeah,
of teaching kids. It's like that's why I have such a
terrible,
complex around math. No wonder.
terrible. That is terrible. Shame on that teacher. Oh, excuse me. Can I ask you a question about so when you were revisiting all the memories of your childhood when you wrote the book, how was that for you?
The memories were always there. They just didn't have an outlet. So for me, writing the book was extremely healing. Writing it down sometimes was a little bit draining. So some days I would sit here and I'd write for hours and I would feel almost cleansed. Other times I would sit here for maybe half an hour and just get a couple thoughts on paper and I would just have to go nap the rest of the morning. And funny story, actually kind of gross, but I finished the book last September. It was a Friday. Went to like the local Staples, got it printed into like these big binders, and I had a few beta readers that were like ready to read it. Dropped it off to them, and that Monday I had like this really bad stomach flu. Like I think it was a purge. It was like,
Yeah.
and that's what my friend said. She's like, "It's a full moon." She's like, "You finished your book," and she's like, "You're cleansed." And I was like, "Okay, well, we'll go with that." Or it could be food poisoning. I don't know, but
Yeah, like your body just released like it was a
yep,
done thing. And
yep,
I too was afraid, like what I don't think my brothers are, I have two sisters and a brother, and my older sister has the week off. So she promised she's reading it. I should text her. Are you reading my book? But I don't say anything negative about, because it's a book about how I felt growing up. And so it's not necessarily nice in some aspects. But I don't say anything negative about my siblings,
right.
too much.
Well, that was a
But because
concern
they're living,
too.
you know what I'm saying? They're living,
That was a
you know.
concern that I had, and I'll see if I can find it. But my dad and I didn't always have the best relationship, and come to find out, we're actually quite similar, which is probably why we always butted heads. But
Right.
I often felt misunderstood by him, and I think vice versa. So in the book, as I was writing it, I said to my parents, I said, "I'm writing this book. It's fiction. It's based on us. You might see some similarities, but." I said, I want you to read this and, not feel badly because I think when you're a teenager, I think everyone hates their parents at one point or another.
Yeah.
So he read it and I was kind of holding my breath and I was like, oh my gosh, like what's he gonna say? What's he gonna think? And I remember I was asleep and I had got up in the night to use the bathroom and I got back up and I said, oh, I'll check what time it is. And there was a message from him and it was like the nicest oh, here it is. It was like the nicest message, and it has completely, like, healed our relationship.
Aw.
I can read it if you want.
Yes, please do.
It's long, so I'll do the Cole's Note version. But you just said, "Hi, Mila. I just finished your book. I laughed, I cried. It was so very well written. The imagination, the way you made the story bring out all of the challenges you encountered throughout your life. You've grown so much throughout this journey, and I see it every time we chat. You had no reason to be apprehensive of me reading the book. Your feelings are valid, and there are many things as a parent I would do differently. But as you said, unfortunately, we can't change them. But we can learn from them and the people around us. Um, you may have craved having my approval, although you may not have seen it, or I may have had a shitty way of showing it. You always had it and always will. Reading the book made me realize that all of our lives were not easy, but also made me realize how very important our family is to me. I'm so proud of you." So I was like, you know what? He could have easily read that book and been like, really? That's what you think of me? Right? But he didn't. And it was just, right. And I think, I I think a lot of the problems we have, whether now or when we're younger, especially when we're younger, it's all based on misunderstandings. It's all based
Yeah.
on right, and it's like if you just had a conversation or you wouldn't we wouldn't have to suffer for all these years, and it's like, I wish I would have written this book 20 years ago.
You know, the funny thing is I did the same thing to my mom and I had her read it like in the pre-stages, like before it was really edited by the publisher too. And like and then she read it again when once it was published. But when she read it, she goes, "Wow, it's really done well. You did write a good book." And she says, "And I don't think you disparaged me at all. I don't know why you was because I told her like because I said F you mom in the very first page of my book. Told my mom to F off. And then I realized things. Like you said, at the end of the book, when you write it, you learn something about yourself and you learn something about your whole life that you really didn't think, and you look at things a little differently. And that is why at the end of my book I talked about mastering my mistakes, because I realized that my mom and dad didn't have Google
Mhm.
or help, or and there's no manual. And if their parents are strict, the way they were back in, a total different time than when we were raised. And I think my parents did the best that they could with four children, and on one income, because my mom was injured in a skiing accident and has always been almost hospital bound.
But yeah, I think to your point about our parents is you don't realize I mean, most parents, I'm not gonna say all of them, but most of them just do the best that they can. And that was something I didn't realize until I became a parent myself. And we were on
Right.
an equal playing field, and I said, "Oh," you start to see things that maybe you're doing with your kids that your parents did, and you're like, "Oh, I don't like that. I'm gonna change that." But yeah, it was a very eye-opening experience because I think I held my parents to such unfair, unrealistic expectations that, yeah, they were human and they were learning too.
I think everybody does that. If you're out there listening and you say, "Not me," I go, "You're lying." Because I think we all, I think that's something we all do. So, like, you're a mom. So, do you think that having those experiences as a mom and your experiences that as a sister and a daughter, obviously, did you think that that reflected in your book and like you were able to have a different perspective because you are a mom, right?
100%, yes, and I think with the way that I wrote the book, so this character, Morgan, who was based on me, Morgan finds a suitcase on the beach, and it's unclear to her earlier on in the book if this, and I won't say anything, I won't spoil it, but it's unclear to her if this suitcase is somehow magical or if there's someone kind of puppeteering this whole situation. But Morgan, through the suitcase, is able to see different people's perspectives and what they're feeling, what they're going through, whether it's through out of body experiences, whether it's through old memories. So it was neat because with my parents' stories in the book, I wanted them to be able to maybe get things off their chest that they had experienced. So yeah, with moms, it was different because she and I talk a fair bit. So I knew that there were certain scenes of her being at the hospital with Sarah and her having to go get surgery and just, those traumatic things that happened. So I was able to kind of live through mom's eyes as I was remember when Jim Carrey did that movie with was it Man on the Moon?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And he really embodied that character. I don't know if you've ever seen, like, the behind the scenes, but he, like,
Yeah, like
lives
yeah, like he walked around acting like he was that character
he
when he was just
lived that
like
character.
even in when he was in town. It wasn't even like just on the set. He did it wherever he
Yes.
was. He was
And
doing
I
that.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that that was me to that extent, but I think I am able to hold people's feelings almost in very, very concise file folders within myself, that when it was like mom's chapter, I was like, okay, I gotta turn on the mom and be okay. I'm gonna put myself in her shoes and what she was feeling. So those days were quite productive, but they were also quite draining because it was like, holy shit, here's my mom who was raising two children. My dad was a politician in Ottawa for quite a few years. So he traveled. He flew out every Sunday and came home every Thursday. So here's mom, bringing me to hockey and caring for Sarah and taking her to her appointments and just doing all of these things. And it's like, oh my God, Wonder Woman, right? So you get a new appreciation for your parents and what they've gone through.
Yeah, like my dad treated my mom like crap. And I talked about it in the book too.
Hmm.
And I went to my mom when I had a memory about things and I wanted to ask her a little bit more, and she'd go into it a little bit. And these are stories that I've heard a lot from my mom since my dad passed 10, 11 years ago. So I know a lot of the stories because I lived them. But if I wanted a little bit of extra help, like remembering my mom was there, and those are the stories that I put in the book. And my mom did a lot. And I think that's some of the reasons why. And it's funny because the last few episodes I talked about this too, that like my mom, she wore so many hats in the family. She was the cook and the picture. She took pictures. She did all the things.
She was a Swiss
And
Army knife.
yeah, she's a Swiss Army knife. And I feel like I do those same thing. Like I've got 2 jobs. I've got this
Hmm.
podcast. I've got a book I'm writing. I wrote a book and I'm trying to promote that. And I take care of, I'm the photographer. I pay the bills. I do all the cooking and the laundry and the cleaning and then da 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 da. I do a lot. My husband also works 2 jobs. He's a very hard worker. He does everything in the outside. And right now I'm doing like a big Halloween spread and I envision it and he builds it. So
Teamwork.
like, yeah. So he just built a Hulk Hogan tribute, and it's like he built the wrestling stage and it looks just like a wrestling stage, and then we have Hulk Hogan standing in the middle. It's really cool.
Do you have social media? Because I need to see this.
Yes. In fact, I think I posted those on my Facebook page because we're just getting started putting it all together. But yes, definitely come see my Halloween spread. And on Instagram too, my Halloween in the past, you'll see a bunch of the past stuff. We have like right now, we bought more animatronics than last year. So I think we have about 11.
My goodness.
Yeah, a lot. So everything's moving and rocking and saying something and doing something. And we have Beetlejuice over in the
Oh my
cemetery, and
God.
I have this witch over in the swamp. We're making a swamp with actual water and then like stuff, and it's gonna be really cool.
Just
Anyways,
for
I got
Halloween or any?
Halloween.
Just
Halloween,
for
oh God, no.
Halloween.
And then we pack it all up and put it up in the attic, and then we bring down Christmas. And then Christmas is a big thing too, because I live on Mistletoe, okay? So my street is like the Christmas street of the neighborhood, and everybody goes out and does something crazy special. And that's just what we do. We just go crazy with the lights and all the stuff. I mean, the Nutcracker. In fact, I just bought an inflatable this today because our last one last year, we had this big arching 12-foot inflatable that goes up the walkway, like in the beginning, in the front walk, and ours busted last year. So yeah, we had a big windstorm and it ripped apart. And it was crazy. So we had to buy a new one this year. And I can't wait to tell my husband which one I bought. Anyways, okay, let's go back. So you're a volunteer firefighter, you're a mom, and you have a business, right?
Sort of.
Okay, well, that's what I had down on my notes. I wasn't
Yes,
sure.
it is. I started going to this CrossFit gym 2 years ago because I was going to the gym, but I was doing my own thing, and I was like, no, you know what? You're a firefighter now. You gotta level up. I was finding it hard to stay on a hose line and do all these things. I was getting sore. I'm like, no, you need to do something a bit more intense. So joined this CrossFit gym, loved it, like fell in love with it immediately. And probably 8 months later, they announced they were closing. And I said, "Oh, like, I don't wanna go work out alone."
When you get the most favorite ice cream, then they discontinue it.
Why do they
Anyways,
do
not this.
that? Why do they
What?
do that? So, I was like, "No, you can't close." So, me and about 10 other people got together, and we started these meetings and said, like, "Can we either take it over, or can we buy the equipment and run this somewhere else?" So, it ended up once we kinda started getting serious about it, a lot of people kinda dropped out. So there's 5 of us, and we bought a lot of the gear that they had, and we set it up at a different location last year. So we hit a year mark on October 1st, but we're a cooperative. So it's like I say I have a business, but it's like a passion project. Like, I'm not doing it to get rich. It was really just to keep me motivated, so selfishly, because I don't like working out alone anymore.
Yeah. That's funny because I have a gym in my garage and I don't use it.
right?
I don't know. I need to get right now. My excuse is all the boxes from Halloween are all over the place in the garage. And I can't get to it.
Next though,
I
but
have Christmas tree there and I can't get into because but we have like a elliptical, like elliptical, and then we have a treadmill and we have a rowing machine and then we have a recumbent bike and they're all like Bowflex, really nice stuff.
I wouldn't use
And then
it
we have
if it was here. Wouldn't do it.
well, I'm not putting my jackets on it and I'm not putting my towels on them. My clothes aren't hanging over the top, but they're in the garage getting dusty. But I do have like a whole mirror in the whole garage, and then we have a
Wow.
punching bag. We have a Smith's machine. We've got
Mhm.
long bar and lots of weights, a curl bar, and then dumbbells. And then I did buy the big ropes, the
Yeah.
whole thing. And I got yoga mats. I got big thick mats too, so I can because I can't really get on the very floor, but the thicker mats are better for me. But anyway, I got a whole setup. I just and a medicine ball. I got a whole setup. I just have to get my ass out there.
Yeah,
Excuse my language.
I wouldn't use it if it was in my basement. It's like and the gym like from where I live, it's like a maybe 1-minute drive, but it's like I physically have to leave my house to exercise. And like my husband bought a treadmill last year because he doesn't like running outside. I always joke that he's a house plant. Um, because I will run in like an ice storm outside before I
Yeah,
run on a
it used to
treadmill.
be like that when I was in college. I used to run. Well, I was in cross country, track, and basketball in high school, but in college I ran cross country and track. So
Nice.
I really liked the running. I would do 10 miles. I would go really far, and in
Wow.
fact, running a marathon is on my bucket list. But now I just feel like I'll never get there if I just don't get my ass out of this chair.
Just start slow. Just start slow. Like do okay, be like, I'm gonna run I don't know. For me it's kilometers. You could say I'm gonna run 3 miles in on 2 days a week. And you
Well, let's
do
start with
that for a
5 minutes.
month.
Just-
But, do that. Do what you can for twice a week, and then you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this for a month, and then I'm gonna do it
I
3 times
know
a week," and just start
you're
slow.
right.
I think that's what a lot of people do. They think, "Oh, I could never do that," and it's like, well, don't have to run the marathon the first week that you decide you're gonna run a
Nope,
marathon.
if I'm gonna run a marathon, it'll be in 3 years if I can get and the thing is too is that I actually do have a reason to get in shape is because we just booked a cruise to Greece.
Ooh.
So, in October of next year. So I have a year to get myself into enough shape so I can walk around and feel comfortable in my own self and not get tired and enjoy the whole trip.
And write it
So I'm
down, as corny as it sounds. Like,
yeah,
write your goals down. Like,
make myself accountable.
I used to be a nutrition consultant years ago. Like I had a not a little, I had a business. So I would do nutrition coaching and lifestyle coaching, and then I had like a market with supplements and to-go meals and things like that. And I loved it. I did it for 8 years. But that was one thing I always told people, like you can say a lot of things, but unless you write it down, it probably won't happen.
That's true. And physically write it down, not just on an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, write it in like a journal and be
Right.
like, "Okay, my goal is," and then you write it down.
Or I totally take you off. We're talking about everything in life. Uh,
This is a Swiss
um,
Army knife episode. We can talk about whatever you want.
so true. Oh, that's so funny. Um, have you ever, because your book is just out, so you probably don't have a lot of reviews just yet. Where
I
are you
ask
selling the book
everyone,
anyways? I,
on
well,
Amazon. It's on Amazon. But yeah, anytime, like I've had a lot of people message me personally saying, "Oh my god, like your book," and I was like, "Thanks. Can you please leave a review on Amazon?"
right,
Or I would send them
right.
like the Goodreads link. People, this is not to sound mean. I'm the same way. People are lazy. So the easiest you can make it for them. So when I had the book published, I actually made these bookmarks. That's me.
Oh,
And then
love it.
I had a QR code made so people can when they finish, it'll say, "Hey, leave a review." And then they take a picture and it takes them right to the Amazon review page. Not the Amazon page, not even the Amazon book page where my book's at.
It's
It's
the
the
review.
actual like write the review here. So
Right.
it's the pain in the butt with Amazon, and I've contacted them about this. Is on the Canadian Amazon, I have 62 reviews. On the American, last time I checked, I only have 25, so they don't transfer over, which is sort of irritating.
Yeah, that's
Um,
weird.
and yeah, people I think too, they think that they have to write this novel of a review. So I'm like, no, like if you're not into that, just give it some stars or just say,
Like
hey,
it
I
like it was a
enjoyed.
great book.
Yes.
Like, or you know what? Use ChatGPT, people. Go in there and say, "Here's this book. I want you to write a review for me, a 3 or 4 sentence review." You know,
Yeah. Yeah, but
I think,
reviews, I think, like, if especially if you're self-published, reviews mean a lot to authors because it's like,
yeah.
if you know yourself, if you go on Amazon looking for a book, it's like, are you gonna grab a book that only has 5 reviews, or are you gonna grab the one that has 15,000 reviews?
Can I ask you a question? Are you so are as a person that self publishes, you get the book printed and you have them and you mail them out, right? Or no? Yeah, or no?
But Amazon is fantastic for that. And I mean, I think Ingram Spark, I don't know if you've had that in the States, but, it's like a distributor, not a distributor, but a printer. So let's say you wanna order my book, they will print it, just that one copy, and send it to you. So I don't have to order 500 or 2,000 and they're just sitting in boxes. So, I mean, as much as I don't really wanna
They
promote
send it to
Amazon.
you and then you mail it out?
Yeah, so I did a lot of my own distributing this summer, because I'm right in between 3 major cities in New Brunswick, and I'm about 3 hours from Halifax in Nova Scotia. So I did a lot of my own distribution. So I would contact these bookstores. So it's we don't have Barnes and Noble. I don't think, maybe in Ontario, but we have something called Chapters, Indigo, and Coles. Um, and I would just contact them and say, "Hey, I'm in your system." I lucked out with the first one I contacted. She was super on board. She's like, "Yeah, bring us 6 copies." And, yeah, I'm in most of the maritime locations, so that's been helpful, but it was all me. Like, I had to go myself. I had to book my own, book signing events. There's smaller bookstores around here that I just kinda went and be like, "Hey, newly published author, you want my book?" And not all of them say yes. Some of them are like, "No, not for us," and you can't take it personally. You just have to walk out with your head high and be like, "Alright, not for them, it's cool."
Right.
Mhm.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I mean, with a romance novel, it's totally different. Now with a book like yours, a fiction book, I would say, yeah, that'd be fun to like. I don't know. I just a lot of people might want that more than definitely don't want my memoir. They're like, who is that girl? Like, bucket list from a redneck girl. What does that
No,
mean?
but
Like,
everyone, like, and back to your earlier conversation about, anyone listening that wants to maybe write, it's like, A, you don't have to write to publish. You can write just for yourself,
true that.
or you can write to just give it out to a few people. But, um, shoot, I had a train of thought and I lost it.
Why waste it? You got a
But why,
novel and
yeah, why waste it? But it's like, don't overthink it, right? It's like,
yeah,
there's
that's true.
everyone has, like, oh, it was your memoir. Like, everyone's got a story. And if
Yeah.
you're a reader and you wanna know different people, like, people's stories are interesting, and you might
Yeah.
resonate, like, people might resonate with your story more than you'll ever realize.
Well, I tell this story a few different times, but I brought my book to we have a place called Postnet, which is like Kinko's or like a place where you can print up your stuff and then mail it. And I brought it in there and I had them make like 4 copies for my 2 good friends and my mom and I don't know, I had a copy for myself. And this was before it was really edited like really good. It was like my 3rd draft or something. But I wanted my mom to get it before I like did the whole publishing thing. And so I brought it to Postnet and then I come back the next day because it takes them a day to do it. And I walk in and the guy goes, "Oh, that's her." And I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "I'm reading your book." He goes, "I downloaded it. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Okay." And the girl goes, "Me too." And this other one goes, "Me too." There's 3 of them. And he goes, "I'm on chapter 3." And the girl goes, "I'm on this and I'm on that," whatever it was. And they're like, um, "Are one of these copies for your mom?" And I go, "Yeah." And they go, "What is she going to say about your book?" Cause he only got like through the first few chapters. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I guess I'll, and then that kind of scared me. I'm like, oh my God, what is my mom going to say about my book? But I just loved it. And then one of the girl goes, "I swear," she goes, "I thought you were reading it about me." She goes, she goes, I can totally relate to everything you're saying. And I
That's
thought, man, if
awesome.
people, if people find a little of themselves in my words and they enjoyed reading it, they laughed, they cried, they did whatever. I mean, that would make me feel good, you know?
Then you've succeeded.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I haven't.
before there's a lot of things that I did right before the idea for this book came about, and uh, one of them was reading Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know
Mhm.
if you've ever read it. It was really good. I've listened to it, and I'm not a huge audio book person. I've listened to it and I've read it. And she was telling the story about how when she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, this woman came up to her and she was basically like saying, "Oh, this story that you wrote, it really resonated because of blah, blah, blah." And then Elizabeth was like, "That is not at all what the story's about." So people she was basically saying, like, you can write a story from your perspective or however you wanna say it or tell it, but people are gonna read it
And
based on
interpret
where
it their own way. Yeah.
exactly, they're gonna
Where
interpret
they
it
come from.
or read it based on where they're at and what their life is like, and they'll probably see themselves in it in one way or another.
True. You know, when you're talking about audiobooks, and you may not be one, did you do your book in an audiobook?
I'm working on it. I have the
You need,
software, but I haven't done it yet.
you need to because most people nowadays, the millennials and the ones that are buying books and all that, they don't want to buy the actual book anymore. They want the audio. They don't care to have, like, we all wanted it on our shelf and adorned in our shelving, and we wanted to come back and grab it when we wanted to, they're not like that. These
Nope.
youngsters, they want it on audio, and that's how you're going to make more sales. You're going to sell your book more through audio than any other way, and it is cheaper for you and you make more profit. Just
I'm glad
saying.
you said that because it's my on my to-do list to have it ready by Christmas. I just keep getting distracted, and I made this little like recording studio under the stairs and my son's like playhouse downstairs. I'm like this is mine now, but I have to do it.
Yeah, they didn't let me talk. Mine's getting done. In fact, I have to listen to it. I put it off for a week now, but I was sick last week.
Mhm.
But I put it off and I have to listen to it, just make sure that they did all my pronunciations right for my friends and all the things. But I don't, it's like, I hate to say this, but I read my book like 20 times. I don't really want to listen to it again
Right?
because I just don't want to listen to it. Plus, I'm doing so many other things, and like I'm writing a book and I can't listen while I'm writing. So,
So you had someone
um,
do the voiceover for you. You
yeah, they
didn't.
wouldn't let me. The publisher that I had, Christian Faith Publishing, it's kind of like a hybrid where it's self-publishing, but it's not. And but they don't allow you to do your own voice, so I had to go with what they picked. And I have a lot of inflection in my voice and how I say things, and I'm like, the way I am, and it's like they're not gonna get that,
Yeah, and that's why
you
I'm
know.
doing mine too. And I said, "You know what? Maybe not everyone's going to like my voice, but who cares? It's my book and I'm going to read it myself."
Are you gonna change up the character voices or
I
no?
think I,
Yeah.
I, I think so. Well, with Sarah's character, Sadie, Sarah has a speech impediment that I tried to mimic in her dialogue. So there's mispronunciation of words. So I'm gonna read
I
it
don't even
the
know
way that it's
I don't know how you're going to actually be able to do that. That sounds very difficult just in thinking about trying to say it in I mean,
I'm
well, you
trying.
probably wrote it that way, correct? Like you wrote it. Like my daughter, she leaves off the beginning and the end of a word. And so it's really
Okay.
difficult even at 15 to understand what she's saying. And I'm like, say it again, Piper, say it again, say it again. And then I'm like, write it down. And then she can't. So then I'm like, I go, okay, just put it on your phone and tell me.
Right. But here, like I wrote instead of it's easier for me, I actually wrote it easier. I wrote EASIOH,
Uh-huh.
easier. And
Easy one.
then for instead of four, I wrote FOW because she has a hard
Oh,
time pronouncing her R. So I'm like, I'll have to really practice that. But I was afraid when I did that. I said I don't want people to think that I'm mocking her.
right.
But I wasn't. I
No,
was I
that's how
was
you hear it.
Yeah, and I was showing the world this is her. This is Sarah. This is Sadie. Like this is
Yeah.
part of who she is and it's what makes her her and who makes her her. So here she is.
Is there something that we maybe didn't connect on about your book that maybe we should? Because I know we've been all over the page.
I loved it by the
And
way.
Oh, good, 'cause
I don't like talking about myself, which is funny because I do a lot of podcasts and I find it challenging. Like, I find the marketing of the book the hardest, but these are the conversations that I wanna have.
yeah.
Um,
But
with
you know what? Your background and what you do for a living, by the way, thank you for your service as a firefighter. That is, in fact, I mentioned to say my cousin Emily, but also my sister's husband is a he's a fire chief EMT or something. I don't know if that's a
Wow.
thing, something like
Yeah,
that.
it
Like
is.
he's like the head guy for the EMTs or whatever.
Yeah, we have some of those in our department too. They have, like, their we all have medical, rescue, but there's some of them that have a higher level. Like, there's a couple
Yeah.
actual paramedics in our department that are both paramedics and firefighters, which I am not. I have this.
I think he doesn't actually have to fight the fires no more. I think that's kind of like where I don't really know. I think he's kind of high up to where he
And
doesn't have to
see,
do the
like,
grunt.
I'm taking it's called we here in New Brunswick, or in Canada, we get our level 1, then we get our level 2, and I'm taking my level 2 next month, but it's like, I don't want to be a lieutenant yet. I don't wanna be a captain yet. I wanna be able to, like, get to a fire and be able to go into the house, and I find sometimes when you're higher up, you're the one giving the orders to do those things. I'm like, I don't really want that. I wanna be in the action, and I wanna be doing
Your
all the
belly gets a
things.
little bigger. Like, you
Yeah.
should
Oh,
start
yeah.
doing because they're just like they're not working as hard as they used to.
Yeah.
But you know what? As you get older, though, when you're getting older, like you're younger, way younger, but as we get older, you're gonna want those jobs because the arthritis and all that.
And
Like,
it's a very, like, I mean, the CrossFit has helped for sure, and I noticed a huge difference in certain, and I try to tailor some of my workouts to be like, okay, like, for instance, my grip strength was not great, and sometimes I have to carry a fire extinguisher around for, we went to a spot the other month that I had to carry a fire extinguisher. It's like 40 pounds. And I'm like, this is getting pretty uncomfortable. But we do
right?
like farmer's carry. And I'm like, actually, like, I'm doing all right compared to this time last year where I was like like holding it like this because I couldn't carry it. Yeah. So it's fun to see those improvements and
Be
all those.
lazy. I tried to hook it to my belt or something. I'm like,
Can I get this
because
on wheels, please?
like an oxygen tank, just reeling it
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So your book again, let me see the cover again. I know it's behind you, but I can't see it
I'm gonna grab
necessarily
it.
right this
I
minute.
have my own copy, but it's got like post-it notes. But yeah, this is.
Okay. Finding Lady Baltimore. And it's at Amazon. Do you have a website that people can go to?
Yeah, it's do you want me to send it to you?
No, just say it.
It's a like Canva thing that I did. It's just milamaxwell.my.canva.site. Like, it's okay. It's
So
nothing
if anybody goes to my website, jesssaying.net, that's JESSSAYING.net, and you go to where it says podcast, you click podcast, scroll down to this episode where to Mila Maxwell's name, and you click on her name, it'll take you directly to her website and or maybe directly to her Amazon account. For the book, I haven't decided which one I'm going to do, but either way, you'll get to where you can purchase the book. Do you have any social media or anything like that you want people to come
Yeah.
visit?
I'm on both Amazon and not Amazon, for heaven's sakes. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and it's just Mila Maxwell author for both of them.
And so remember, people, when you get her book, don't forget to go back and leave a comment, a review on Amazon. Those are very important reviews because it also tells you, if I went in the right direction. It always feels good. Plus, other people will get the reviews and go, "Yeah, that looks like a book I need." You know.
And yeah, and the reason that I wrote this for myself and for my own healing, but I also wrote it to spark these kinds of conversations. So if anyone out there is reading this book and actually personally wants to talk with me, whether maybe they're a parent or maybe they're a sibling of someone that grew up in a similar household as mine, this is why I wrote this book, is to talk about it and to get those people talking about what they've been through. So reach out. I'd love it.
Well, also her email will be right next to the episode name. It's right there with the date of the airing of the episode, and you can click on her email her directly if that's okay, right?
Yeah.
So email
I
her,
do
and
get
then
a I do get a lot of spam for
um,
like
I
marketing,
know.
but I usually read. So if
Just
it's
just put in the subject line. What do you want to say? Like, I'd like to talk about your book. or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and I read everything. It's just if it's
Yeah,
spam,
I
I'm
try. Hard.
if there's any
I'm having a hard
spammers
time.
there's any spammers out there, I'm not gonna listen to you, so
Yeah, like legit, me too. Like if you want to sell me something, I might give it a once over, but I'm really not going to engage you.
mhm.
So
Sorry.
I just want to say I know, I just want to say thank you so much. This was so fun, and I really had a good time.
Me
I
too.
love it when I
Could
love
chat
it when
with
I
you
get on a podcast. I know we're like
all
best
day.
friends now. No,
It's
I'm
because
just
it's
teasing.
'cause we have French bulldogs and curly hair.
Yeah, we know we know the struggle of having a French bulldog. Oh my god,
They're so stubborn.
and the
Mm,
farts and the bedtime. I mean, it's just nuts. And they want to be on all three of them want to be on your lap, and this, and I'm like, sometimes in the winter though, it's actually nice. I'm like, come on, you guys, lay up here, keep me warm.
right?
But yeah, but they want to lay on you. They want to fart in your face. They want to do all kinds of stuff. They're just little brats, but you can't live without them. And my husband, Opie, is his best friend. Like it's his buddy. Anywho, but I really want to say thank you, Mila, for coming on today, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Good. And everybody out there listening, just remember, be kind to one another. We only live in this one world together. So we need a lot of healing in our nation right now. So let's be kind, and everybody take care. Have a good one. Good night, good day, whatever it is for you. And thank you, Mila. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you too. Have a good day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Gather around when the sun dips low, talking about the days we used to know. VCR tapes and dial-up tones, raising kids living with achy bones. Leather jackets and big hair days, now it's carpool lines and PTA. Neon dreams turn into schoolyard fights, but our hearts glow in retro nights. We are Gen X, living both worlds. From cassette tapes to a digital world. Parenting now with a nod to the past. The retro love we know will last. We are Gen X, living both worlds. From cassette tapes to a digital world. Parenting now with a nod to the past. The retro love we know will last. We dance to the beats of the boombox sound. Now bedtime stories echo all around. But deep inside we're the mixtape kings, still fighting life with arcade dreams. Feeding families with a pizza slice, telling tales with a side of advice, laughing at